The top of the line Vapor 13 Elite costs nearly 5 times as much as the lowest tier club model, but surprisingly they actually share a lot in common. They're both blue. I guess that's it. What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the cheapest of the brand new Mercurials, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 13 Club, bearing a small retail price of $55. That might seem very inexpensive, but quite frankly, these just aren't worth it. How could that be? Well, because they're just not very good. And I'm not saying that if you're a really good player, you couldn't wear these boots and still play really well, because that's not at all the case. But I am saying that for the money, as cheap as they are, there are better football boots that you could buy. Also, the main reason why most people will buy these is because they look like Mercurials, but that's about the only Mercurial element that this boot has, because in comparison to all the models above it, they're almost entirely different, and like I said, not very Mercurial-esque. So I'm gonna go over all the details in today's video, break down what these boots are all about, including how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire review. And if you are by chance interested in a pair of these for yourself still, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That's gonna take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes to pick these up below their normal $55 retail price. If you guys do end up enjoying this video and perhaps would like to see more reviews of cheaper takedown models, don't forget to support this one with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on daily content from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. So included with the boots is a box that I accidentally dropped. As for the boots themselves, like most football boots at this price point, they can be summed up with one word, and that word is cheap. The upper is not Flyknit, it's not knitted at all, it's a cheap foam-based synthetic material that we've seen on previous generations of the club tier Mercurial, and pretty much on all the different club tier models from the Nike brand. There's not really a lot of variety here, despite them all having their own distinct look, this being the Mercurial variation. But basically, it's a thinner upper, it's very cheap feeling, it's soft, it's flexible, it feels fine against your foot. The touch, I suppose, isn't terrible, but if you're looking for any kind of a premium vibe from your football boots, these are simply not going to provide that. There is a bit of a micro texturing on the surface, so it's not left completely slick, but otherwise it is as basic a football boot as you can possibly have. And on the topic of ACC, I don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. But it probably isn't. Just like any other Mercurial, the laces run directly down the middle, but unlike the models above the club tier option, it does not feature a one-piece construction. Instead, a standard tongue, which is kind of what we're used to seeing on older generations of the Mercurial line. The tongue being made out of the same cheap foam-based synthetic as pretty much the rest of the upper. Nothing fancy, but it does in fact get the job done. Of course, this is a Vapor, which means that it does have a low-cut construction. It does have an internal plastic heel counter as well. And for a heel liner, as you can see, it has some very heavily padded mesh material that's actually pretty comfortable, a little bit slick on the socks, I must admit, so not incredible in terms of overall lockdown, but definitely comfortable. Certainly not the most durable either. I always find that mesh-based heel liners tend to kind of ball up a little bit and do become rough and potentially even rip over time. But as a whole, from a comfort standpoint, there's really nothing to complain about. I do also find it interesting that Nike made the heel liner white, given that it is made out of a mesh, because that's going to look super dirty really quickly. Also, the insole is fully glued in, so I'm not pulling it out. Moving to the base, you may have already noticed that this does not have a split sole construction, unlike all the other new Mercurial boots. What you will find instead is a single layer of plastic as a sole plate that admittedly is very, very soft and flexible. It actually doesn't feel too far off what you get on the Nike Premier 2, which I guess is somewhat of a compliment. It has a very natural sensation, but again, unlike all the other Mercurials at the higher price points. And as far as the stud pattern is concerned, it does share that with the Academy tier option in that it is their FG-MG layout, FG standing for firm ground, MG standing for multi-ground, basically FG-AG, they just didn't want to call it that for some reason, where you'll have the same general Mercurial layout for the studs, but some of the studs have been replaced with conical ones, with of course some chevron bladed studs towards the tip of the toe as well as at the heel to maintain more of an aggressive feel. I guess this technically isn't the same as the Academy variation. It's the same as the last generation Academy variation, but either way, it gets the job done, and you can, in fact, wear these boots on firm natural grass as well as artificial grass. When it comes to weight, the club tier option features completely different materials and a very different design, but none of those materials and the overall design seems to be very heavy, so the end result is actually a fairly lightweight pair of football boots in a size 9.5 US. The Vapor 13 Club weighs in at 8.05 ounces, the equivalent of 228 grams, which is about half an ounce more than the Vapor 13 Academy that retails for $80. So not too big of a jump in terms of overall weight, and certainly not a heavy pair of boots, but again, not as light as the more expensive models. So I've swapped out the stock blue laces that do match the boots really nicely for some white reflective SR4U replacement laces that really pop against all the white accents that you have on this particular colorway. Plus, it's the first colorway for a new generation of Mercurials. It's going to be extremely popular. These make your boots look different in comparison to everyone else with the same ones. So if you're interested in changing up the style of your boots in a very inexpensive way, the website to visit is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in some for yourself, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the club tier Mercurials honestly feel fine. The upper is decently flexible. It wraps your foot pretty closely, so it doesn't have a sloppy fit like you might expect from some of the cheaper boots that are also out there. The sole plate is obviously very flexible, but doesn't feel uncomfortable in any way. And the heel liner being very padded, it's also very comfortable, although again, there is a little bit of slippage due to the mesh-based material that it's lined with. Overall though, there's really not too much to complain about here. It's a very basic pair of football boots, but they feel fine otherwise. As far as width is concerned, it doesn't really have the same general shape as the rest of the Mercurial lineup. So I would say that they have some decent amount of width to them that will fit most people. If you had really, really wide feet, maybe not the greatest option, but in general, I think most people will fit in these quite comfortably. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you're looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I can confirm that the Vapor 13 Club does in fact function as a pair of football boots. So if this was a pass-fail style review, this would get a pass, but in terms of actually me being able to recommend them, that's something that's a little bit more tricky. There really isn't much about this that relates to any of the Mercurial models or anything that has made the Mercurial line what it is today. So if you're expecting that Mercurial experience from the club tier option, you're just not going to get it. This is a very basic pair of football boots made out of very low quality materials that do in fact work as football boots like I mentioned, but there's nothing about the experience of this that I think is remarkable in any way at all. And here's my recommendation. If you're on a really, really tight budget and this is all you can afford and you like them, go for it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I think if you're on a really tight budget and you're after the best possible value for money, this is not it. I look at something like the Nike Tiempo Legend 8 Academy that retails for $70, $15 more than this. I think those are well worth the extra $15, but you can also get that boot in an older colorway at about $55 anyway, so why not just buy those instead of this? Even the Vapor 13 Academy, it's $80, I understand that, but once more colorways start coming out and the older ones get marked down, you're gonna be able to get them for $50 to $60, at which point you should definitely buy those rather than these. I'm not saying that you need to go and spend $300 on a pair of football boots, but I am saying that this should not be your immediate first option. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you are in fact interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That's going to take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick them up below their normal $55 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.